Welcome to Home Team Advantage. I'm Gary Gimbetti along with Mike Egan, here to discuss today's topics on sports. And what the heck is this?
I think it's your birthday today.
It is?
Yep.
I was going to say, one of us is 64 years old today. Which one do you think is 64?
The younger looking one.
So this is my birthday present from
Ron.
Mr. Workalaw.
Would you lock the door? Will you still need
For all our
me?
two customers
Will you
that'll be
still
humming that
feed
the
me
rest of the day.
When I'm 64.
Well, it's a good way to fill in space.
Good way. Yeah, I know we don't have as much time to talk, but
Yeah.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Workala, for playing that song. It is, we're doing this a day later this week. It is my birthday today, and 1 year closer to
Retirement.
and like my wife said at Caribou this morning, 1 year closer to death.
Oh. Wow.
So if something happens to me in the next couple of weeks, you know
Yeah.
who to go to. No, she's just kidding.
She'll just lay out in the driveway with the shovel in your hand.
Yeah, that would be what's going to kill me. I'll tell you that.
65.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I got to keep shoveling snow in April, I'm not going to make it till I'm 65. But
Unbelievable weather.
I know, and you can't get anything.
And we can't talk about really what's going on at the high school because there's nothing going on at the high school as far as athletics because of the weather.
No, and they should be in full swing somewhat in full swing at this point.
Correct.
But they're not, and it's just depressing. And
Well, when you think about it, the baseball team's still playing in the gym. The golf team is still practicing in the gym.
although they are hitting at a simulator.
It's a simulator right now.
Well, which is obviously at Premier Fitness.
Right. But-
Lux or whatever at your place, so that's good.
Yep.
Congratulations to you for getting that put in there, so these kids have something to do.
The softball team, they're indoors.
Yeah,
Track is indoors. That's
yeah. They went down to Cambridge and had one outdoor meet during that nice week, but I didn't get any results from them, so I don't know how they did
kind of hit and miss.
at this point. And I don't know. It's gonna, unless it gets warmer out here, they won't be playing at the beginning of next week.
I seriously feel that they will not have golf, baseball until the middle of May.
Oh, that's even more depressing.
Oh, it is. I mean,
Because
we're not.
it has to warm up at some point. It just has to.
Pretty sad when the Stanley Cup playoffs will be done and they're going to want to go play baseball.
High school baseball, yeah.
And the Twins play today, and it's going to be, what, 38 degrees?
Yeah. Yeah, and I heard a positive thing about the country club is they thought everything came out through the winter pretty good, and
Good.
usually we don't start until that last week of April anyway, unless we're lucky and we
Yep.
get out earlier. And they were about ready. I mean, not ready. They're about ready to open.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know how far this pushes it back. So, and whatever. I mean, we live up here. We still live up here.
And why we live here.
Yeah, why we live here is the question. I don't know, but but the one nice thing is, I guess we'll start with the 5 and under national playdowns are going on at the Hibbing Curling Club today, tomorrow, and Sunday. It started Thursday. They had, which was a nice gesture, is they had Joe Roberts, Jerry Scott, Gary Clefman, and Paul Pustovar throw out the ceremonial first stone yesterday.
Nice.
And Gary and Jerry used their corn brooms to sweep it down the ice.
Wow.
So they brought back the 76 curling champions, world curling champions. And Paul Pustovar in his own right has carved out a name for himself because he did play. When Joe Roberts couldn't play in 1977, Paul did play for him and for Bruce and Gary and Jerry, and they did go to the Worlds that year. They won the Nationals and went to the Worlds. And Paul's done a lot of amazing things since then. So it was very fitting to have those four. And obviously Bruce Roberts passed away December 30th, I believe, of 2022. So it's unfortunate that he could not be around for this, but it was very fitting for them to have those four.
Speaking of the curling, how did the curling turn? I mean, who won?
The last chance, John Schuster did win his second one in a row.
did? Okay.
Yes, and his third title overall, as I was told. So yeah, it was, and I missed one that he won back in early in like 2012 or something. So he's he joins an elite group of curlers that have won it 3 times.
Yeah.
And I think there's somebody may have won it 4, but I don't remember the name.
Okay.
So he's maybe Sean Rojeski has won it 4 times. I'm not sure, but I know Sean has won it 3 for sure. And so congratulations to John. He beat. No, I'm going to blank out on this one because I can't remember. I know that Tom Scott had a rink with the Gabardis and Davey Johnson, but they got beat quarters.
Okay.
So they did not make it back to the finals. They may have got beat sooner than that, but at least it was the quarters where they lost. And
Well, they had over 100 teams, correct?
yeah, they had 100
Nice.
right on the nose. This seemed like the curling went off without a hitch,
Good.
and there was a lot of people there. But I heard for the first time ever, I think the fire marshal actually did get involved this year.
Oh,
I was hearing stories about that, where they didn't want more than 200 people
in the
in
curling.
the curling club, which I get it, safety reasons,
Yeah.
but
Well, and then they should move it up to the main ice and have it up there.
well, then you should, because you can hold 5,000 people
Right.
in that building.
Yep.
But you know what? It did. They took out. They told me they took out a couple of 2 or 3 or 4 tables from the dining area there, which gave it a lot more room. So just in case
Yep.
something happens, you can get out of there. But when you have a fire in your kitchen, after last year's last chance
Yeah.
or whenever it happened,
Yeah.
that brings up a whole different
Oh, yeah.
ball of wax. I'll tell you.
Well, they get a little more stringent on the rules, so.
And it's probably a good thing. I mean, it's certainly not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It works to the benefit of everybody. And it went off without a hitch. And congratulations again to John for winning that
Good.
title. Now this is 5 and unders. Has teams from all over the country here. I know there's one from Houston or Austin, Texas. And I think there's one from Arizona, and I'm sure there are some from out east and certainly some from out west.
And this is for individuals that have 5 years or less experience.
Experience all on the team, and
And how they check that?
well, that's a good question. I don't know.
In our pre-meeting before we came on the air, we were talking about the young kid from New York that was, 24? I'm 14
Yeah,
and
I'm
I'm playing
14,
Little
I'm
League.
playing Little League baseball. Yeah, so. But
Had some guy out there with a beard, a mustache. Yeah,
I'm sure they have their qualifications, and they know
Oh, yeah.
exactly. Obviously USA Curling
Right.
is putting this on, so they have representatives from New York here that work for USA Curling, and they have the ice makers came in. I know for sure on Monday and started working on the ice, and I know they flooded at least, I think there's 7 sheets in there. They flooded 6 of them, and then they've been pebbling them and then shaving them and pebbling them, shaving them. And the ice looked really good yesterday. I know I saw one match for sure, and it was curling 3 to 6 feet. So
Well, that's a feather in the hat of the Hibbing Curling Club that they get, not only attract, but they do a heck of a job when they get them here.
they
So,
do,
good.
and that goes out. I know Tom Scott's the vice president. I'm not sure who the president is, and I apologize for that. But he does a good job. Tony Wilson does a good job. All the people there on the board do a wonderful job, and I don't know who's all on there because I'm not associated with the curling club at this point in my life. But maybe
When you turn 65, you
yeah,
will.
well, maybe if I retire, because they keep asking me, when are you going to curl again? And I go, well, I don't know. And I go, but if I'm coming back with a skip who knows how to make his shots.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to play on a team where you can't trust your skip.
Plus, you don't have to sweep as much. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we went through all of that. I mean, now nowadays they only have 2 sweepers, but now you watch these things on TV and one guy sweeps at a time.
Yeah.
And I asked Pustovar and I asked Joe Roberts and I asked a number of other people there, why is that? Because always you think 2 people would be better than 1. Well, evidently, if you're sweeping with the rock the way it's curling, it helps it curl more.
Okay.
So you do that. But if you want the rock to go straighter, you sweep the other way
Oh.
against the curl. I think that's how it works. Again, it's all physics, and
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
not.
ask-
I'm not a
don't
physics
ask me.
major, so I don't know how it works that way. But that's evidently why only one person sweeps at one time, and then they'll call him off and call the other guy on. And
How an individual can get down on all fours and throw a rock the length of a piece of ice and make it stop on a red dot is amazing.
Yes, it is. And and that's exactly what Schuster did on his last shot in the finals of the Last Chance, because he was looking at two counters in there, and one was on top of the tee line, which is above it, which is where you want to put your rocks, and one of them was behind the tee line, almost touching the 2 foot or 1 foot circle, and he drew right in, and he touched the top rock on the tee line, and it kind of rolled into the center. And
Wow.
yeah, it was one heck of a shot. And that was, I want to say, the team they curled against was curled by Danny Casper, who's from New York originally, and he's moved to Minneapolis now, but he lost to Schuster in the Nationals to go to the Worlds. And I interviewed him after that match. Well, I actually did a story on him because Jason Smith, who's originally from Chisholm, was curling with him. And he said you should do a story on him. And so I talked to him and did a story on him. And I talked to him after the match, after the championship, and he said, "Thank you, it was nice meeting you." I said, "No, if you make it to the Olympics or the World someday, it's my pleasure."
Yeah.
Because this kid is going to be a good one.
Good.
So we have curling in the United States is not going to take a drop off. If John ever decides that he doesn't want to curl anymore, there's people to.
Well, there's what's his name he used to play for the Vikes.
Well,
Allen.
Jared Allen
Jared
is
Allen.
playing with Jason Smith actually,
Okay.
and Jason's an outstanding curler in his own right. And I talked to Jason and I said, I suppose you get asked this a million times, but if Jared Allen wants to experience curling, then he has to come to the Last Chance.
Yeah.
But he said this weekend didn't work out for him because he had to take care of his daughters or something because his wife was gone. So he couldn't make it up here, but who knows, maybe someday
Maybe he'll come back.
in the future well, Jason will probably always be here unless unless the Worlds or something interferes with him. But maybe someday Jared Allen will, because he's curled in Eveleth, I believe.
Okay.
So he has been up to the range. So it's like maybe one day we'll get him at the Last Chance. Then who do you think's the major draw?
Jared Allen.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
So, hey, but good job to the curling club. The 5 and under again runs. It was started Thursday, runs today, Saturday and Sunday with the finals on Sunday. No, I don't think there's a Worlds for it, but hey, you can always be known as a national champion
Right.
in something.
What's wrong with that?
No.
So, well, as we said, there's nothing going much on at the high school. College, basically the same. Basketball or boys?
No, baseball. I know they took 3 or 4 from Northland. I don't know, like last week. I don't know how the heck they played, but they took 3 or 4 from them.
Play with snowshoes on?
Maybe especially if it was in Thief River Falls. I mean,
okay.
maybe Thief River Falls had their, because I know they didn't play here.
Yep.
And so good for them. And Bobby told me in my previous story that he doesn't have guys who can hit home runs. But they must have hit about 6 or 7 of them
good.
during that series. So it's like, well, good. He's got some power on
Yeah.
the team. So good for them. So it'd be nice actually to watch a game.
So if you don't have home run hitters, you play billy ball?
Well, you pretty much have to manufacture runs. He says they've got team speed and they can steal bases. And I think during the preview he told me that they were, say, like 32 for 32 in stolen bases.
Wow.
So
There's some speed then.
yeah, well, I know, and that's not the correct number, I don't think. But yeah, they hadn't been caught yet.
So billy ball, is that from Billy Martin or is it from
Billy Bean?
Billy Bean.
Might be from Billy Martin.
Okay. That's what the Twins used to play. Because
Yeah.
they had one guy, Killebrew, and that was it.
Yeah.
Well, no, they had Allison Oliva.
Yeah, those guys are just
Yeah,
offshoots
yeah,
of
they're
Harmon
the home run
Killebrew.
hitters.
So yeah, no, those guys weren't very good.
So.
But yeah, and but this is college, and you can't always count on a home run in college.
Right.
So hopefully,
Yeah, that's what I said, wasn't it?
yeah, Billy
Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked Billy Bean. Billy Bean's more known for Moneyball.
Yeah, the Oakland A's.
Yeah, and they're the worst team right now in baseball, I think.
Yeah, but did you see yesterday that they just bought a piece of property off the Las Vegas Strip to build
No.
a baseball?
Well, they're moving then. There's
Yep,
no
they're
question.
moving.
It's too bad. I mean, it's like when we lost the North Stars, and I suppose, the Lakers are so long ago,
Yep.
it's hard to
Remember them?
that. You might remember that, but
Yeah. I was crying the day they left.
well, that's because your godfather was playing with them. We weren't gonna see him though for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always tough to lose a franchise. And
It is, but again, look at what Vegas. Everyone thinks Vegas is just a place to go gamble, but it's really turning into a mecca of
Entertainment.
people. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
people moving there. So
Football, hockey,
Yeah.
hopefully baseball, and
next it'll be basketball. Well,
Guess
they
what?
do have all the what is it, junior league? Not junior league, but the D League. for
yeah,
the
they
NBA.
do hold tournaments down
Yeah.
there for that.
So-
So who knows? Maybe they will get a baseball
Yeah.
or a basketball team at some point.
National Rodeo Finals are in Vegas, so
Yeah,
the mecca.
maybe that's where the place. Maybe that's the place to move is somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Arizona, close to maybe Bullhead City. I know Laughlin's close to Bullhead City, and I don't know
right
how far
across.
Vegas is from there. But-
Hour drive from Las Vegas to Laughlin, and then it's 10-minute drive from Laughlin to Bullhead across the river.
All right.
So
Well, that would be the place to go because and then you're not that far from California either.
just far enough that you don't have to put up with it.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd go to L.A. I might go to San Diego. Might be the spot to go.
San Diego's
there.
beautiful. My older brother was stationed there, and he just fell in love with it. Same weather every day, and,
Oh,
and
boring.
you're far enough away from LA that you don't deal with that. And, but
And now they got quite the baseball team
yeah,
with all the money they've put out
Spent-
for players. I guess just talking a little professional stuff. The Wild are tied 1-1.
yeah, very lucky to win the double overtime game. The goalie, their young rookie goalie, made over 50 saves, and unfortunately, Mr. Fleury was put into the beehive for the second game. And they said that when you talked about before the show, the Wild coach, I think he knew that he had to protect his goalie and put Fleury in there and have him play tonight, correct?
Yeah, Gustafson in tonight
Yeah,
because his
tonight.
game 3 is tonight in Minnesota. If they want to be legit contenders, they have to win 3 and 4.
Right.
You have to win 3 and 4, and you can't let Dallas even in the game. Now, I know Dallas is decent, but aren't we decent?
Well, they are, but I think that first game, I didn't get a chance to see the 2 overtimes because it was lights out at the nursing home, so we can't go to bed. But
So they let you out every now and then.
yeah, just a little bit. But the Wild, that first couple of periods, they stuck it too. They didn't take any of their physicality, and they gave it right back as it was given, and I think that kind of set the tone for the game. Now the second game, different story. I mean, it looked like the skates had slowed down, and Dallas was a lot quicker. So
Well, then you got guys that don't take 10-minute misconducts taking 10-minute misconducts.
yeah,
And I want to call him Bruce Suter, but I know it's Ryan Suter. He's a cheap shot.
oh, big time.
I mean, maybe we didn't see it when he was here. I don't know. Maybe we took a turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
But and maybe I'm totally 100% wrong. he doesn't have to like the players on Minnesota because he's not here anymore, but he should at least respect them.
Especially someone like Kaprizov, who's a young, upcoming hockey player. Kind of like, when Gretzky played, everybody knew not to mess with him because if they did, Gretzky had 3 or 4 guys on that team that would take care of whoever was messing with them. And unfortunately for the Wild right now, they don't have anybody to do that.
No, Foligno went up to him.
Foligno went up after
and,
him.
And Suter backed down.
Yep.
He didn't want to have anything to do with him,
Right.
which makes him chicken.
Yep.
I mean, because if you're going to mess around with Kaprizov, then you better be ready to pay the consequences about it. And I like Ryan Suter here. He helped the Wild be successful. Zach Parise, same way.
Yep.
It wasn't on the players that got to get rid of him.
No.
Bill
But
Guerin got rid of him.
where were the officials when
Well,
they cross-checked them right in front of the official and they just stand there and look at it like,
yeah. And once was in front of the net,
yep,
and then the other one he just went up for, and both of them were from behind.
yep.
So he couldn't even go face to face with Kaprizov to do it,
Right.
to cross-check him.
And to go after a young man that just had an injury to that part of his
To
his
wherever,
body.
wherever the injury
Yeah.
was, because you never know.
Yeah.
But
So-
that just bugs me, and the officiating again is
Terrible.
terrible. They don't call that stuff, but they see. But when I'm sorry again, a big homer, but when a Wild player does it, they're in the penalty box, and that's just not right.
Well, let's hope they get it put together for tonight, and I think it was a Saturday they play tonight and Saturday.
Sunday they'll play. Yeah, they get
So-
every other day off.
So hopefully they do well. Minnesota Twins 11-8. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
11-8.
Mr. Twins fan over there.
Our producer said we have to give them kudos for going into New York and winning
Yeah.
the first 2 games there and won handily.
Yep.
Kudos to you for the prediction.
Yeah. You had the prediction 2-2. on the show.
I don't remember saying that, but
Well,
thank you.
we can get the tape out and replay
All
it.
right,
but-
yeah, you'll have to do that because I don't remember
Yeah,
saying
because
that.
that's when Babe kind of laughed a little bit at you.
But I mean, they scored 9 runs in that first inning that one night,
Yep.
and that is just totally you never see that against New York.
Yeah, but there's no consistency. They go to Boston, and what do? They won one game, and then the next,
Yeah, they get beat 11-5, win.
Bagan.
And Emilio Pagan was in the game. Yes. Now Kenta Maeda has obviously pitched decently since his return from Tommy John. Yeah, but he got hit with that line drive yesterday, and unfortunately I heard this morning that there's no broken bone, so hopefully he won't miss a start unless they rest him,
Right.
Because they don't want to overwork him. And I understand that totally. But
How about the other big story in Major League Baseball with the pitcher for the New York, Scherzer caught with
rosin or something.
Well,
on
he
his
said it was
hands.
rosin. He cleans his hands with alcohol in between innings and then puts rosin on it. And the one umpire said it was like glue. It's just so sticky, kind of like that movie, The Replacements, when the guy puts the stuff on his hands and can't even pull them apart. So he got a 10-game.
But there's the hypocrisy of that, because the Twins playing the Yankees and German had the same thing happen to him, and they did not do a thing about
Right.
it.
Yeah, that's
But
when
the Mets pitcher gets suspended and the Yankees pitcher doesn't.
That's when Rocky Balboa went
And
off the handle.
Oh, he lost it.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Yep.
I mean, if you have a set of rules, one, you have rules, you have consequences.
Yeah, but
And,
it's the Yankees.
well, the Yankees
Mets.
and the Mets.
Yep.
And the Mets, I prefer to see the Mets win more than the Yankees. And it's not because I don't really dislike the Yankees team, but their fans have just been too spoiled over the years with the players they get.
Money talks.
No. But now San Diego's outspending them, as we talked earlier. So the Timberwolves, worst. I've always called the Vikings a bad organization, and if you playoff wise, they're bad.
Yep.
During the regular season, I have all the coaches' records at home, and during the regular season, they're good.
Yep.
They're way above 500. Playoffs,
Not so
well
good.
below 500.
Yep.
And I always call them a bad organization. But the Timberwolves, and I hate to say this, they have to be one of the worst organizations in this state.
A lot of that, I think, goes to ownership. I think it's time that he sell. They have been talking about selling this, and now what is it, Rodriguez and.
Yeah, A-Rod and
But they
and
don't take over.
Laurie or Mark
they,
Lurie
they
or
take
Laurie.
over another year or something or whatever it is. It should be sooner than that because they have the talent. Although, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think Gilbert and Towns play too well together. But
Well, and you're not wrong.
they got the right coach. They can't
I
blame the
think so.
coach.
No, they can't. But I bet if something happens, I bet he's.
He's gone.
And you know, when he first got hired, I'm like, does he really know what he's getting into?
Yeah.
Because I didn't think Naz Reid was any good. I didn't think like Vanderbilt was any good, and I didn't think McDaniel was any good,
Yeah.
or Jordan McLaughlin or Jalen Noel. Well, he took over, and I got to give all 5 of those guys credit. They all improved under him and are better. But now you watch,
Two of them are hurt.
yeah, now you got Reed and McDaniel out, and Naz Reid at least got hurt during the game,
Yeah.
and he had surgery. Jaden McDaniels
Punched the wall.
punches a curtain with a wall
Yeah,
buried behind it,
Yeah.
and you just I hope he feels guilty about what he did, and I hope it bugs him for the rest of this season and the rest of the offseason. And I hate to be like that, but you just took your team right out of the playoffs by doing that, especially with Reed or with Naz hurt. It's like I know these guys personally, but I don't.
Well, speaking from just looking at it from an outside looking in, I don't think he'll give a crap what happens
Well,
to his team.
probably not. because he's-
NBA players are out for NBA. Each individual player is out for each individual player.
Yep.
How much
And then-
money can I make and what can I do?
And then I hear on sports talk about not Jordan McLaughlin hasn't played very well now, and Jalen Noel hasn't played that well in the playoffs, and
Well, they're
Yeah.
playing the number 1 team. Well, they're not just going to walk on the floor and beat these guys. You got to play.
yeah, and the problem is, Cat sat out 52 games with an
Yeah.
injury, and that's legit. I get that.
And he had that Byron Buxton injury.
Or he had bilateral leg weakness like Mr. Mauer did that
Yeah.
one year. And and it was a calf injury. And we know what happened to Klay Thompson when he had his calf injury. He came back too soon and ripped his Achilles. I don't blame him for being, because he's their guy. Other than Ant, Towns is their guy. So
Well, it's Williams' team. We'll go from there.
that's it.
All right.
Well, we finished up
We went
another
through another 28 minutes.
28 minutes.
30 seconds of that song of yours. You're 64. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
And then
How's the end of that happy birthday go? Hope you get some tonight.
no,
Hope you get some tonight. Hope you get some cake and ice cream. Hope you get some tonight.
So for Mike Egan, I'm Gary Jim Betty, a year older, but we'll see you again next week.
Hibbing Public Access Television would like to thank U.S. Bank for providing us with studio space.